Greetings once again, everyone, and welcome back to the Sitrep podcast. I am your host, Risky Jim, and apologies if my voice is even worse than usual. I am fighting off a massive head cold. Nevertheless, we are still back to finish up this game of Tactical Combat by Mark Ritchie, recreating part of 5th Marine Regiment's assault on the Peleliu Airfield in the Pacific War in World War II, 15 September 1944. So this is an 8-person 15mm game. I am one of 4 Marine Corps players. My reinforced platoon has finally entered the table, and they have now taken their first fire from a 75mm field gun position. Alrighty, here is my force. This is the lead platoon of Lima Company, 3rd Battalion, 5th Marines. You see where I've got some Sherman support. My immediate objective is to take that central building there and to put bases of fire on both of those corners. Perhaps with my 37mm towed anti-tank gun you see there, as well as my Shermans. Why? Japanese tanks have now arrived. Oh, aren't they so small and adorable? Okay, small and adorable and a little absurd as they may be, they are a threat. I need that building. Now, like I've said before, we're sort of setting up a 3-stage and echelon attack on the Marine right wing. I am the last platoon of that 3-platoon attack. Therefore, I am going to sort of form the hinge based on that building as we move forward and then swing from right to left. We're going to hit the Japanese line and sort of roll it up from right to left if it works. But first, I've got to take that building, establish that hinge, and put some fire on the table and help out John. John has sort of been our screening force here with 1st Platoon and Weapons Platoon of Kilo Company, 3rd Battalion, 5th Marines, and he's been fighting pretty much half the Japanese table by himself. He has taken a tremendous amount of punishment. He's got the forward observer, he's got the Navy shore party, he's been calling in some great off-board missions. Nevertheless, he's been patient long enough. He really does need some help. Especially since, like I said before, most Japanese positions are hidden and they've been pre-recorded, not on the table. They pop up as we advance. And so it's almost like a game of whack-a-mole. We've been dealing with these Japanese positions as they appear. So here we are partway through turn 5. And again, these positions just keep popping up. The Japanese player got to put, I think it was 8 bunkers, either log bunkers or stone coral bunkers. Here's another one here with a 75mm field gun. This was the guy that took a shot at my Sherman when I first entered the table. You see where he's got that react token on him. He took a shot at me the second I entered the table there. Thankfully, he missed, although only by about 2 centimeters. So, yeah, that was actually kind of scary because that really could have done some damage to my tanks. We see here the Japanese armor. It's not impressive. However, there are 6 of them, and their little 37mm guns will definitely put a hole in our lighter armor. In our Shermans, they'd have to get really lucky to really damage a Sherman with them. Spoiler alert, they do get really lucky on a number of rolls, and our Shermans do start burning. But I tell you what, guys, they don't need to be lucky with those 37mm guns, left over from the war in China as they may be, to put a nice big hole in all of our LVTs, which is the majority of our armored fighter power. So, yeah, our on-echelon attack, our single envelopment from the right is developing. We'll see how it goes. Alright, we are now into turn 7. Things are starting to look a bit better for us. What we're not able to destroy over here on the left-hand side of the table, John is at least dropping smoke screens in front of. That's with the integral 60mm mortar that is with his weapons platoon, again, of Kilo Company, 3rd Battalion, 5th Marines. You see here where I've actually opened up a gap in the barbed wire. My engineers have gone up. I've opened up a gap in the barbed wire. I'm about to storm that building. I've pretty much already emptied it with mass fire from 75mm from my Sherman, my short barrel 75mm from my LVT, and mass machine gun fire 30 and 50 cal off of my LVTs. So that building is pretty much empty now. I just have to run forward and occupy it. You see where my Sherman is already there at the corner, shooting around the corner, ready to engage some of that Japanese armor. Again, off to the side, you see 2nd and 3rd Platoons, Kilo Company. Those are my teammates, Mike and Jim Dundorf. All those little red counters are their wound counters. They've taken the majority of the damage. We all put a huge amount of fire on this Japanese bunker here. You'll notice there's not much of a bunker there left anymore.
Let me see your war face. Ah! That's a war face!
That was my 75 from my tank, a 75 from my LVT, a 75 from Mike's tank, and I think another 75 from John's Sherman. We each have a Sherman in our platoon. I even threw a bazooka into that small rocky outcropping that's right in front of it. There was a Japanese machine gun team, took that out. So again, I feel sort of sorry for any Japanese force caught in front of this 3-platoon full Marine Rifle Company circa 1944 attack. Again, this game gets a lot of the details right. Kudos to Mark Ritchie. Marine Rifle Company, especially with armor support in the latter part of 1944, was not a force you wanted to be on the wrong end of, as the Japanese are learning to their cost, at least here on the right-hand side of the table. The rest of the table is another story, and John Sowerby can attest to that. He's definitely been suffering. But I'm on the corner now. I'm throwing rounds into these Japanese tanks. I'm taking out a Japanese knee mortar. The rest of Kilo Company 3rd Battalion is sort of spread out to my right. They've taken some heavy casualties, but we're doing okay for now. Oh, okay, now our Shermans, this is what I mentioned before, our Shermans are starting to take damage. That Sherman is not knocked out, but one of its crew members has been killed. One of its crew members has been wounded. The tank itself is still moderately operational with some penalties. But yeah, those Japanese tanks are starting to get some lucky hits. Meanwhile, my Sherman has been taking shots at some of those Japanese tanks. Yes, I do have limited line of sight through the frame of that building with the wrecked Japanese plane. My bow machine gun has also been engaging a Japanese sniper that is about to show up. So there's a lot going on. But yeah, we're trying to effect that sort of a wheeling motion with my platoon as the hinge, Mike and Jim Dundorf's platoon out further to the right, and we're going to try to turn more to the left and start to roll up the Japanese line. But we're not doing too bad so far. So I can't, what I really need to do is get in that building. It's taking a while. You see here where I have ×2 move orders. I'm not even going to shoot. I'm literally just going to blitz into that building. Luckily, I was able to clear that building with direct fire, so I don't have to worry about it. I should say that everything with that little white button on it, that's how I'm tracking what platoons are mine. We have taken out some of these positions here. There was a 75mm field gun out there. There was a 47mm anti-tank gun there that was causing us no ends of worry. Again, threading a Sherman, at least on the frontal armor, maybe not. But all these LVTs, it's not even a question. A 47mm would go through this LVT armor without any kind of a problem at all. Meanwhile, I'm checking in now with John Sowerby with 1st and Weapons Platoon Kilo 35. I'm asking him what he has left. He just has 2 LVTs in that mortar section. So if you're familiar with HBO The Pacific, that is Sledgehammer and Snafu with their 60mm mortars. Again, every Marine Rifle Company had a 60mm mortar section with it. That's all he's got left, but I tell you what, he's still holding on, and he's still tying down about half the Japanese table. So kudos to him. Alright, we're finally in the building. Awesome. Again, I was able to use some engineers. There are rules in this tactical combat system by Mark Ritchie to open up gaps in that barbed wire. My armor then had to go through the barbed wire. I do have to make a roll to get through the barbed wire with armored vehicles. It's a pretty easy roll. If I do fail, like my tracks get tangled up in the barbed wire. But I made them both. Now that barbed wire is torn up and got gaps in it. So his tables do have, and his rules do support, sort of collateral effects. As your vehicles move through certain kinds of terrain, you literally change the table. It's not just a terrain negotiation check where did you make it through the barbed wire or not? No, you made it through the barbed wire, and now there's a hole in the barbed wire as well. So I've got those 2 corners locked down, like I said. I've got that other LVT that's kind of shooting through the overhang of that building, and we're doing okay. Now here we have, oh, my tank is on fire. No, what happened?
Private Palau, what are you trying to do to my beloved corps?
There was a 47mm anti-tank gun, there he is right there, that just hit me and took it out. I'm trying to suppress him with some .50 caliber. It didn't work. And then the 47mm was able to put a round into my Sherman, and yeah, the opponent literally rolled a 1 on a d20, so basically the D&D version of a natural crit. You win some, you lose some. My Marines are now on 2 floors of the building though, so I have elevated position, including the bazooka. My bazooka is taking shots at Japanese tanks. So far I'm not having much luck. My 37mm towed anti-tank gun took out a Japanese tank, then it was taken out in turn. But there's been some lucky rolling on the Japanese side. So we got really lucky with the naval bombardment in part 1 of this video. Again, if you guys go back to that video, there's a link to part 1 of this video in the description. You'll see where we got super lucky with our offshore bombardment and silenced most of the heaviest Japanese weapons at the beginning of the game. Here are my LVTs suppressing all they can with their 30 and 50 caliber machine guns. Yeah, there's my commander +2 with the bazooka. So I'm hoping that +2 will be a bonus to that bazooka shot. But yeah, now fair fortune and lady luck is starting to feel sorry for the Japanese a little bit. Because over here on the right side of the table, we are creaming them. And make no mistake, there's pretty much nothing left. These Japanese tanks have now appeared. I know we eventually take out 4 of them. I don't know if all 4 of them are burning on the table at this time in the video. I can't quite see it, but yes, we do take out 4 of them eventually. Nevertheless, the 2 that are left are actually getting some lucky rolls, I'm sorry to say. The Japanese sniper also appeared in those trees. I wounded him, and then one of Jim Dundorf's guys finished him off. So we've sort of cleaned up our security a little bit there. Alright, so this is us calling the game after 12 turns. What could have been like a 15-turn game. And yeah, we're calling it an American victory. We do have 1 Sherman left. You see the little red button there on his main gun. The gun is knocked out, and there is a killed and a wounded crewman in the vehicle, but the tank is still technically operational. We do control the airfield, and oh hell yeah, do my guys, that's 1st Platoon, Lima 3-5, we definitely own that building. Trust me, there's like 20 Marines piled into that building. With elevated position, we command the battlefield. The 2 biggest Japanese gun positions were knocked out almost on the first turn. The first one was knocked off right off the bat. I think we got the second one on turn 3. So those are the 2 bunkers there. So it's pretty good. Mark has been running this system now for a long time. I actually don't know how long he's been running it for. Again, the name of the system is Tactical Combat. He designed it himself. I've tried it out now. I've observed it once before. Now I've tried it out. I actually like it. It's very detailed and yet pretty fast. Once you learn your way around his quick reference sheet and his charts. And again, congratulations to our opponents who really made us fight for it, and congratulations to our teammates for helping us bring home the win. But for now, this is Skinny Jim signing off. Tango Mike for listening. We'll be in touch very soon.